Lesson 5.1, Fractions with Common Denominators. To add or subtract fractions with a common denominator, write the sum or difference of the numerators over the denominator. For example, 3 plus 4 is 7. Keep the denominator of 8. 5 sevenths minus 2 sevenths. Take 5 minus 2, which is 3, over the denominator of 7. The algebra tells you that it works with any number, as long as the denominator is not 0. For example 1, you have negative 9 elevenths plus 3 elevenths. Take the negative and place it above the fraction bar with the 9. So now you have negative 9 plus 3 over 11. Negative 9 plus 3, remember you subtract, is negative 6 over 11. And again, it doesn't matter where you put the negative as long as there's only one negative. For part B, you have 8 2/5 minus 5 3/5. Because the 2 is less than the 3, we need to try to get this numerator to be higher than 3. To do that, I can borrow from the 8, make that a 7, and then add 5 to the 2. Why do I add 5 to 2? Because the denominator is 5. So I'm basically adding a 5 to the 2 to make 7/5. Now you can subtract 7 minus 5, and now you can do the fractions separately and subtract them, and then add them together at the end. So you have 2 plus 7 minus 3 is 4/5, so you have 2 4/5 as your answer. Another way to do this that kind of works with any mixed number is to do the around the world and change it into an improper fraction. So you have 8 times 5 plus 2, which is 42 over 5. Do the same thing with the next mixed number. 5 times 5 plus 3 is 28 over 5. Now you can subtract the numerators. 42 minus 28 is 14 over 5, and make that into a mixed number. To do that, bring down the numerator. So you have 5 into 14, which goes twice. You're left with 4. That becomes your numerator, the same denominator, and you have 2 4/5. I like to use the improper fraction way because it works when you're multiplying, adding, subtracting, dividing. It works with all of them. So it's easier to work with mixed numbers if they're improper. But again, you can do it the first way as well. Example 2, this time we have simplifying fractions with variables. First of all, let's write the sum over the common denominator. So remember to bring the negative up. So it's negative 3m plus 7m. They're both m's, so you can combine like terms. Negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4m. Remember, you only have one m though, because it's like you have 3 monkeys plus 7 monkeys, and you had negative 3 monkeys, so it's 4 monkeys total. Now you can divide out common factors. Well, basically what we're doing is we're simplifying the 4 tenths. And that means we can divide out 2 to each of them, and we have 2m over 5. That is our answer. So when it says divide out common factors, you're actually simplifying the fraction. Simplifying the fraction. Part B. I'm actually going to change my subtraction, adding a negative here. You don't have to, but it's going to make it easier to see. Because what you have is a 1p minus 2p, or adding a negative 2, which means you get negative 1p over 3q. You can write it so that it's negative 1p over 3q, but you don't need to have the 1. And the negative can also go outside of the fraction bar. It doesn't matter as long as there's one negative. you can see that all of these fractions are equivalent. You can see that in each fraction there's only one negative, so they're all the same. For numbers 1 through 4, you're going to find the sum or the difference and simplify if possible. Number 1, add the numerators, 1 plus 2 over 9. You have 3/9. You can simplify that, divide both by 3 to 1/3. Number 2, this is where I like to make this an improper fraction. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19 over 6. Now what you have is 5 minus 19 all over the same denominator of 6, and 5 minus 19 is negative 14 over 6. That can be simplified. First you can divide out 2's to get negative 7 over 3, and then you can make that into a mixed number, which is negative 2 1/3. For number 3, bring the negative up with the x. Negative x minus 7x all over 12. You can add this negative. So you have a negative, there's an invisible 1. Negative 1 plus negative 7 is negative 8x over 12. Simplify the fraction. You will not get the correct answer until you simplify the fraction. Divide both by 2, you have negative 2x over 3. You will get half credit if you don't simplify. For number 4, we have 5a plus negative 7a all over 8b. We can combine the numerators because they're like terms. 5 plus negative 7 is negative 2a over 8b. Simplify the fraction. Both divide by 2. Negative a, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4b. Raise your hand if you have any questions. Let's try solving the equation with mixed numbers. You and your friend leave your homes to meet at the basketball courts. Your friend lives 6 1/6 miles from the courts. You live 4 5/6 miles from the courts. How many miles m closer to the basketball courts do you live than your friend? Here's the equation you're going to use. First of all, let's move the positive 4 5/6 by subtracting it to both sides. Excuse me. Four and 5/6 on the right side cancel, so you're left with them. Now you need to simplify the left side. This is when I like to rename it so that it's improper. 6 1/6, and they're going to do it differently. 6 1/6 improper is 6 times 6 is 36 plus 1 is 37 over 6. And then this is 4 times 6 is 24 plus 5 is 29 over 6. The way they like to do it is they borrow from the 6 to make it a 5. And when you borrow from the 6, you basically have a whole, so you have the 6 becomes like a 6 over 6 because the denominator is 6. So you add that 6 to the 1 to get the 7. That's how they do it. Again, I like to do the improper, which you'll get an 8 over 6, and then change it to a mixed number. How many 6 go into 8? 1. What's left over? 2. Again, you can do the division over 6, which does simplify to 1 1/3. You can see what they do is they take the 5 minus the 4, and then the 7 6 minus 5 6. They get 1 over 2 6 as well, which simplifies to 1 1/3. So either which way you do it is going to work. If you want me to explain this a little bit better, you can always ask me to explain this. Again, I do think the improper fraction way is easier because it works with all operations. We're going to do some longer expressions now. For example, 4. Put the negative with the 4, so we have negative 4 plus 2 minus 1. Solve it left to right. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3 over 5. For part B, again, there's a couple ways to do it. Let me show you what they do first. They take out the whole numbers. And this is going to work okay because the 9 with the subtraction is bigger than the 3. And then adding, it doesn't matter. So it actually might work out better this way to do it with mixed numbers. I can show you the improper as well. You can see 3 minus 4 is negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6 plus 11, 17 over 16. Well, the 17 over 16 is improper, so you actually need to solve 17 over 16, bring down the 17. 17 over 16 is actually 1 and 1/16. Add that to the 1, you have 2 and 1/16. If you do it the improper way, you have 57 over 16 minus 16 times 4 plus 3 is 67 over 16 plus, and do 16 times 2 plus 11, 43 over 16. 57 minus 67 is negative 10 plus 43 is 33 over 16. We can simplify by bringing down 33, which goes in twice, 32, left with 1. So that's how we get the 2 and 1/16. Either way works. Pick which one works for you. Try 5, 6, and 7. Number 5, we have 7 plus 3 plus 1 over 8. 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 1 is 11/8. Change to mixed number. 8 goes into 11 once. You have 3 left over, so 1 and 3/8 is your answer. Number 6, same denominator of 4. You have 1 minus 7 plus 3, which is negative 6 plus 3 over 4, which is negative 3 over 4. Again, I'm going to do the improper way. 9 times 1 plus 4 is 13 over 9, plus 9 times 5 plus 1 is 46 over 9. And then 8/9 are not a mixed number. So now we can do 13 plus 46 minus 8 all over 9. 51 over 9 is your answer. Change it into a mixed number by bringing down the 51 underneath the division sign. That goes in 5 times, 45. You're left with 6. You have 5 and 6/9, which does simplify because 6 and 9 both divide by 3. You get 2/3. 5 and 2/3.